Secretary Shringla. Good morning to you, sir. And Operation Sindoor, country was waiting for this action. It's happened today. Shows the prowess of our defense forces, the meticulous planning by our security establishment, and the political will shown by the political establishment. I want to ask you, how do you look at the international reactions that have come in so far? United States, measured. China, regrettable is what it called, and said restraint is the need of the hour. How would you respond to these statements so far?
So soon after the, our response and the strikes that took place, I think we got into high gear in terms of diplomatic outreach. We have contacted some of our, main partners, interlocutors, United States, UK, Russia, UAE, Saudi Arabia, among others. And I think most, if not all of our interlocutors have understood that our actions were calibrated, were precise, were targeted at terrorists and terrorist infrastructure, and that we had no intentions to escalate this. This was in response to a very heinous terrorist attack, and our response has been very, very calibrated. I think most countries are now engaged in ensuring that Pakistan does not try to escalate it for its own domestic and other compulsions. There is a lot of diplomatic pressure being placed on Pakistan even at this point of time, so that they don't take this response to a stage where it could become a more serious conflict. Obviously, we are absolutely prepared for any contingency of that nature, and our counter response will also be very, very severe. So I think this is not in anybody's interest. At the same time, I think you mentioned China. I don't think we can rely on China when it comes to their so-called ironclad relationship with Pakistan, their all-weather friend. And I think we have already seen that they have supported them through supply of some arms equipment quickly after that incident. But at the same time, I think China should also understand that escalation of this conflict is not in their interest, and they have to do whatever it takes to rein Pakistan in, which is already reeling under a financial crisis. They have another very important bailout pending with the IMF, which should be taken up sometime today at the IMF headquarters in Washington. So there are many more important considerations at stake. They are depriving their citizens of water also, from which flows from the Indus and other rivers. And I think all of these are a consequence of their actions, the actions of the military. That I think has been irresponsible and certainly detrimental to the interests of the people of Pakistan. Do they have a say in all of this? I mean, that's the issue that we have to ask. Is this the way that they want to go? And most countries and people of Pakistan themselves will say that this is certainly not the way we want to be headed, which is why they have situations of revolt and dissension all over, from Khyber Pakhtunkhwa to Balochistan to Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. They have issues with their own people across the board, and this is really a diversion tactic, which I think the world understands and will try and deal with it in their own bilateral interactions with Pakistan.
Mr. Shringla, even as we speak, you mentioned the word that, at present there are countries that have put diplomatic pressure on Pakistan not to escalate. Could you just give us a peek into who these countries could be?
Well, the United States is certainly one of them. I mean, NSA has spoken to, his counterparts. Marco Rubio has also been engaged, by the EAM or at senior levels, from what I can understand. And I think there is, a conversation with the leadership in the US. From our side, we have briefed them on what has happened, what has transpired, what are the motivations and what are the objectives of that exercise. I think from the various statements that we can see, the US is definitely on damage control mode. They will ensure that what is a correct response has been fully, I think they fully agree with our response that we have undertaken to a heinous terrorist attack. At the same time, I think they will try and make sure that Pakistan does not seek to take this out of context and try and create trouble elsewhere. So they will be active here. And certainly you will see during the course of the day some high-level interactions. And more importantly, it is the interactions that we don't see. The informal interactions behind the scenes that will involve some leverage, and I have no doubt some level of intimidation also to prevent Pakistan from taking the region and the world to another escalation or conflict.
What about Russia? Where does Russia stand?
I think Russia's stance has been fairly clear when President Putin spoke to Prime Minister Modi the other day. And I think he made it clear that he condemns this act of terrorism, that Russia stands with us in our response to terrorism. Our response has, as I said, has been very, very precise, has targeted headquarters of those terrorist organizations that were behind Pahalgam and other terrorist attacks in India. I think Russia will stand behind that. And they also have some leverage with Pakistan, maybe not as much as the United States, certainly not as much as China, but they do have some leverage, and they, I'm sure, will, in their own way, do their own messaging.
What about countries in the Middle East, Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and what would the role of Turkey be here?
So I think the Gulf countries you mentioned are very important because they understand our compulsions. I think we have a strong strategic partnership that has developed in recent years with Prime Minister Modi's own personal connect with the leadership there and his overtures to these countries. They see India as a responsible, stable, growing economy with whom they have a strong strategic partnership, and certainly will sow their weight behind any efforts to ensure that this not only that they show an understanding of our responses, but also try and rein in Pakistan towards any misadventure that they might wish to undertake in response to our calibrated strikes. As far as Turkey is concerned, again, another country which has been, has its own agenda to follow. I think, we have to remember that Turkey, the leadership of Turkey comes from the Muslim Brotherhood, and the Muslim Brotherhood are very strongly linked across the board. So they're linked to Pakistan, they're linked to the Muslim Brotherhood in many other countries in our region. They will look at it in a very different ideological manner. They're not looking at it as terrorism and a counter to terrorism. They're looking at it as from an ideological religious perspective, a larger ambition of Erdogan's idea of a caliphate that he would like to see, taking them back to the days in which Turkey had established a caliphate in medieval times. So I think they also have been supportive of Pakistan. We've seen equipment and ammunition coming in from Turkey very quickly after the Pahalgam attacks. There is a strong army-to-army connect there as well. But I think more importantly, Erdogan and his political grouping, the Muslim Brotherhood grouping, see this in very different contexts. And we need to, we've engaged Turkey in recent years. We've tried to work with them on the economic plane. We had been very quick to respond to assist them after the earthquake in Turkey. But their actions have not been very different. And I think we need to be able to in our own way, convey our displeasure to them. At the same time, we need to keep engaging them. We shouldn't leave that avenue closed.
Yes, but we also have our problems with Bangladesh for the moment. Should that be a challenge for India at the moment, or do you think the Western Front is where we need to concentrate?
No, Bangladesh is a challenge, but we need to ensure that it does not become another I would say thorn on our side, on the eastern end. I think we need to engage them diplomatically and security terms, and we need to make sure that there is no attempts to bolster what Pakistan is doing at their end, because again, it is the Islamists that have gained control in Bangladesh. The Jamaat-e-Islam is very powerful, is a very influential player in Bangladesh. The Jamaat, as we all know, is an instrument of Pakistan's ISI, has been with Pakistan, has been supportive of Pakistan against the independence of Bangladesh in 1971. Their efforts to create a caliphate again, a khilafat, will not change. And I think we need to be very, very stern and very firm as far as our security interests are concerned with Bangladesh. We haven't seen any evidence of this coming up, but we should not wait for that to happen either. So we have to engage them very, very clearly on these lines.
Well, thank you very much, Shringla. Thank you for joining me on this morning of Operation Sindoor. Pleasure to have you here.